Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Calvas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic. I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about the me in meantime. Today we discuss the often overlooked but critical aspect of personal growth and self-discovery during the transitional periods. So today we will explore how to harness the power of meantime to cultivate resilience, clarity, and purpose in our lives. So really very interesting topic, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from this session as we have an expert with us in today's this session. So stay tuned because amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank Kalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world-renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendations, and suggestions, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually as well as to contribute to the world at large. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have a special person. She is a very generous that we have requested him, and she has been on Calva's platform for multiple times. She is the one of the popular speaker on Calvas, and due to the excessive request, we requested her again to share her wisdom regarding this very interesting topic with us and with our audience from around the globe. So let me introduce her formally for the people who are joining for the first time. And she is from South Africa and a global goodwill ambassador in international educationist specializing in humanities, psychology, education, and humanitarianism. She is the founder of the MIA program, which is renowned for impacting lives across the globe. Through her international and local work in education and resource training, she has earned multiple global awards, is an NLP master, is a CBT practitioner, and transformational mental health wellness advocate globally. In addition to that, she is the president of Success World One Academy South Africa, President Chelparco International Women's Council, and Vice President of the Yes You Can International UK South Africa, to name a few of her portfolios. She is passionate about the empowering the women and the children, youth development, and the building of positive humanity. She is the lifelong learner, a woman of purpose, impacting lives of people around the world positively for the betterment of the humanity. Last but not the least, she's a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, and above everything, she's a great human being. So please help me once again, Professor Dr. Mehreen Mia. Welcome to the Calvas platform once again, and thank you very much for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And yes, thank you so much for having me, Dr. Haider Shah. It's always such an honor and a pleasure to be with Calvas and to obviously learn together as we grow and try to build ourselves while we try to build other people. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and over to you, please. Thank you once again.
Sure. So I greet everyone in the universal greeting of peace with blessings wherever you are in the world right now, and especially during, for us, what is a very auspicious time. We pray for peace across the world, and we pray that everybody is going to obviously learn from us today, and we speak what is needed to be heard by someone so that we impact somebody's life, inshallah. Today's topic is something that we don't often hear of, the in the meantime and the me in time. It's very new as a topic, but it's something that I came up with because I think it's very important. It's something that we just neglect and we sometimes take for granted is this concept of time. So you'll often hear people talk about time management, or they'll talk about how to use time wisely in a classroom. All of these are normal topics and very important to have. But for me, it's very important to understand time for you as a person. Because when you understand this value of time for you personally, then it's much easier then to apply what is important for time in your life in other aspects. Because if I don't know the value of something for me, I won't know how to treasure it and how to then use it to manifest it in something more positive in the outer book. So remember, time is very limited. Many people have this misconception that time is there. I have time. I can do it tomorrow. I can do it next week, or I can push things for next week. What is your guarantee that that's going to happen? So time is not something that is unlimited. It's very limited. It is something that you cannot renew as a resource because there's no going back in time. As much as we all talk about this, and there is scientific stuff that happens about that concept, but that's for me not negotiable because the only person or any being that is in control of your time is your creator. So the time that you have is not a guaranteed time, but the time that you have for now is purposeful time. And then that is why we say time is precious. Everyone always says that. So because time is precious, you must know that time is allowing us to do certain things, that those things that matter to us, when we want to learn something, if I want to do a job, if my work is intending me to do a certain task, if I want to create something, like if I want to create a program or we want to create today's episode to happen, everything that we enjoy, whether we want to help other people, every single step of everything you are doing is time. Between Dr. Haider speaking and introducing me to me speaking now, we have lost so many minutes. But did we lose those minutes? Did we lose that time? No. We gained something. There was something I gained from him, you gained from him speaking, you're gaining from me now. So time is evolving as every second passes. And this is why it is so precious. It is finite, it's irreversible. We cannot get back the time we have lost or wasted. So, just as the same, we must understand that we cannot predict time. You don't know how much of time you have left. None of us do. And because we say this time is precious, ask yourself right now, if I'm an employee somewhere, am I always getting late in the mornings despite how early I'm waking up, how much I plan in my head that I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to get there on time? If you're a student and you have work that's constantly given to you, whether it's university, school, are you somebody who's, no matter how much you are planning, you're not procrastinating, you're planning, you're getting things done, but somehow that last minute always happens where you're delayed and it gets done, but later than your normal timeline? Are you somebody who always wakes up early, but you're still always missing the taxi that you're looking for in the morning? So when you're asking yourself these questions and you're finding, yes, that's me, no matter how hard I'm trying, I'm not making it, then it's not a bad thing. It's something that you just have to understand the concept of. Are you taking this time for granted? Because time, we talk about commodities and we talk about gold and we talk about all these other things, but time is your most precious commodity. And every second that passes by brings us closer to a new moment or a new opportunity, a new growth, a new development. And it's such a limited resource when we look at time that once it's gone, you're never going to get it back, no matter how hard we try. And that's why it's so important for us to take advantage of every second that we have and use every second to the best way that we understand possible. Taking this time to appreciate life is going to bring you greater long term satisfaction. And then any material possession that you may think is so important, or any short term pleasure that you think is most important, it actually doesn't lose the importance, but the value of the time spent in creating that becomes more valuable than the actual product itself because you've enjoyed the time you've spent to get there. So, likewise, when you feel like time is running away from you, no matter how hard you're trying, you can never seem to catch up or be on top of everything because time just seems to go away. And I'm sure Dr. Haider will agree with me. Nowadays, there's such a rat race in life for everybody, whether you a parent, whether you're a business person, whether you're a stay-home parent, whether you're a child in school, whatever be your status right now, wherever you are in the world, it's a rat race. It's a rat race to even keep your mind firm or reaffirm to yourself that everything is okay all the time. But the one thing we have that is a constant is time, and time is evolving as we keep going through these motions. But when we are finding that the time is running away, many of us are saying, I wish we had 25 hours in a day now. Or I wish, there's not enough hours in a day to get everything done. Why? Why is this happening? We have to take a step back and ask ourselves, are we even valuing this time? Because if we value the time, then to manage that time is going to be a lot easier. If we value and cherish every moment of the time we have, then you will put in the extra effort to make sure that you are on time with whatever task you are doing. So, unfortunately, because time is irreplaceable and, it's really this precious, like we are saying, And we know every second is so important because it's an opportunity. It's not just an opportunity to make it on time. It's an opportunity to make whatever changes are necessary to make that time more valuable. So using this time wisely creates a new image of your mean time, because you and your time is actually what is against the world right now. You and your time is on one part and your world is on another part. What are you and your time doing to make that your time become that precious, that valuable, that mindful of every moment that passes us by? We know that we are putting in every effort into every moment. We're getting everything out. So the world on the other side is going to appreciate that, and it's going to give us tenfold of a blessing back because we're putting in the time. Are you doing that? And it's no wonder that, we're constantly trying to save time. We want to always save time. Let's save time, we'll do it this way. Let's save time, we'll do it that way. But in the end, remember, you can never create more time than you are given. You're not going to be able to create time. You can create a new mindset. You can create a new ideal. You can create a new idea. You can create a new manifesto. You can create a new method, a new process, a new program. But you will never be able to recreate time or create more time than is given to you. So rather than constantly searching for ways to save a few minutes or seconds here and there, let's rather learn how to appreciate what the moments are that we have in the day, that we have, in the moment that you have. How can you make your moments a little bit more memorable? This moment right now that you are learning from me, take a second and just write down something that you are taking away that is memorable. Something of the time between the morning and right now that you are listening to us. What is the one thing in that time that you would implant as a memory that you took time out to do, either for yourself or for somebody else? I'm not talking about the time you spent in your office or time you spent for other people. I'm talking about for you. And that is why I wanted to talk about this today, because very often we use our time. And some of us would be saying to me, but ma'am, we use our time. Yes, we do. But are you using your time for you? Are you using the time to benefit you while you are trying to make time to make everything right for everybody else? Because that's what we do. We're spending most of our time nowadays to make sure the deadline is met for my boss, or the children's marking is done for the exam, or the meal is prepared for my family, etc., etc. But are you taking the time for you? Am I taking time out? Even when I'm in prayer, I am still worrying about what I have to do after I finish the prayer. So is the time that you are spending with your creator in your prayer also not that precious that you have to rush it through because the worldly time is more important? This is why I'm saying, do we ever take a step back from this hustle and bustle of life, where we can really start to appreciate every second of the time that we get? Because when you start to value this time more, then you're going to become more focused on your self-care. You're going to become more productive with your efforts that you put into whatever you need. And then living in this present moment becomes more valuable than, how do I create this fuel for my every other moment to become more beneficial for everything else? I will appreciate my days even more. So remember that when you take control of how you're spending your time, then you're going to learn and realize that there are so many valuable moments that we sometimes may just be wasting, because we're so focused on an object or a subject or a outcome. We're losing precious moments of time. And that's when you start to understand why we say this time is so precious. And this time management concept can help you to make the most of your day, including how you find the benefit that you can get out of it. And I'll give you a hypothetical example. Whether you're a single parent or whether you're a full parent, I know that the one thing I cherish the most is my time with my daughter. And I'm a single mother. So for me, my time with her is most precious, because I never know when my time is over, when my demise would come. I never know. So I live for my every second with her to be most beneficial to both of us. So I'm implanting these memories and treasured moments with my child because I don't want to lose a moment. And I'm not talking about the schoolwork that comes, you have to still do that. I'm not talking about the exam. I'm not talking about a lecture. I'm talking about moments of laughter, moments of even sharing a tear together, whatever, but discussing stuff about the world, but learning how she's growing herself while she's helping me to grow myself in the process, building bonds. I'm asking you, if you are a parent and you're listening to me, when you are coming home and you had a long day from work or wherever you're coming from, and your child has to run to you and start to talk to you, how many parents are saying, "Not now, please, I'm just busy"? That's a norm. It's becoming a norm. And what do those children who get told that do? They find the solace in the time being spent on a screen. What happens then to the bond time between the family unit? We're losing that. And you know what, Dr. Haider, it's not because parents don't love their children. It's because the rat race of life is making it so hard for them to value the time anymore. They feel like, I have to do so many things. I don't have time to have this small discussion to find out how was your day. I don't have time to listen to you when you as a child is trying to tell me what your friend did that hurt you. I don't have the time for that because I have to get this meal prepared. I have to make sure everything else is done. So parents too are engulfed in this rat race of time. So there's no time for what is the small stuff. And why am I saying this? Is not to point out a fault in a parent or a child. Is to create an awareness that that small stuff that we are neglecting is what makes the time so precious. It's what makes the moments so precious. I too was that way. That's why I speak of it and I will speak of it openly. I had to learn. I am losing moments with my baby. I'm losing precious moments. And what if something happens to me? And this dawned on me only when one of my friends had to bury a child. And when I had to see another child lose a mom, it dawned on me, oh my gosh, Mehreen, you are going through life. Are you making moments with your child? That if you are gone tomorrow, she has these memories with you. This is what I'm saying to you. Why wait for the awful moment to happen? We got the moments now. We're given the time now. We're given the precious time now. So let's make the time we have precious because that's what it is. It is precious. And time, lots of people say time is money, but time is more valuable than money. This is why time is so precious because we know time is money, yes, but it's actually more valuable. And there are many reasons for that. And the number one reason is time is irreplaceable. Unlike money, which you can earn and you can even save, time cannot be replaced or saved. Time is going to keep going on. Every day, every hour, every second of our lives is only a one-time opportunity to use wisely. Money is there. Money can be made even if it's lost. But if the time is lost, what do you do? How often have we sat and said, I wish I had more time. I wish I had one more moment with this person. I wish I could turn back time because of a wrong decision, etc. We've all said this at some point in the other, but you can't. However, can you make amends with those who have wronged you? Sometimes we wish to just ignore those who have done us wrong, so do that. But move on with yourself in time. Forgive yourself for the wrong decision and just move forward. For yourself now. Once it's gone forever. There's no way to get back the time that you have lost. This makes it more important than money because money comes and money can go, but the hours of your life cannot come back. The minutes and seconds that pass us by cannot come back. And that is where we realize that time offers us so many possibilities, so many opportunities. So literally there are limitless possibilities with time. We don't spend money to get experience of life. You spend time. Time. How many times have I had a child that comes to me for therapy or for counseling, and the only thing that they're really missing and wanting is time. They're coming from homes and families where they have been given everything. They have the latest of devices, the most branded of clothing. They have the best of everything. They're going to the best of schools. But what is the one thing they're not getting? They're not getting time with those that they love. Time. Possibilities to create so much is being lost because we just don't see the value of how we're spending our time. To go from one place to another, that takes time. Making memories takes time. You know, achieving your goals takes time. Understanding anything that's complex to make it simple, that takes time. Performing our daily tasks or daily prayer, etc. All of these things is all about taking time. So each second of our lives gives us opportunity to use our imagination, to use your creativity, to use what is your God-given gift of who you are. How am I going to make my life and my time more meaningful? I'm not talking about being more meaningful for other people, more meaningful for you, so that when you are no more, people are going to remember that impact of you. The meaning of you remains. That is what we build as a legacy, because time allows us to reflect on our choices all the time. In every time that you are taking to make a decision about something, do you know you're taking time? And when you're making a decision about something, do you realize that you are reflecting about something else before the decision is made? So this reflection prevents you from making the same mistake in your decision making. So the mistakes are not repeated. And it also helps you to examine yourself, because that is key. For me, in everything I teach everybody is how to be honest with yourself and how to be honest about your dealings, because then you will know. Reflection is key. Because if I'm not able to reflect, how am I going to know me? How am I going to know my mind? How am I going to know how to change things that are negative about me? So this reflection helps you to examine yourself, your persona, your professional level. And when you're able to examine yourself and reflect, then you are able to improve yourself as a person. So while it's true that sometimes having the extra money is important and important for your pocket, and everybody's going to say to me, money is important. We have to keep this going. Yeah, time's just as important. What happens to all the money that you're going to leave behind if you haven't spent your time wisely enough? So it's all important, but how do you eliminate the stress levels then when you are using so much of stress in your capacity to create that money? Then what happens to time? We're losing time, we're losing moments only because I need to make sure this is the level of finance I want to see. What happens? What have you lost in time for that? Do you equate the time with the money? Because I'm not trying to debate that money is not important. We need it. It's important for us to survive. We all know this. We're seeing so much of trauma across the world because of lack of money. There's still poverty in the world. There's still hunger in the world. And so much of negativity in the world purely because there's not enough money. But have you seen people that are without those things still smile? Have you seen them still sit together and huddle with families, even though they don't have the best, they don't have roofs over their head, they don't have so much, but they're still smiling, they're still happy, they're still content? How is that possible? Because they see the value in the time they still have. So, how do you then ask yourself about better decision making? Am I deciding on time purely based on an agenda for business? Or do I realize that I got to decide on time based on myself, based on the gift of time, based on it being this precious? Then I'm able to decide better for me and then for my business. So I'm saying to you, even though there's the importance of the ultimate goal that we want to achieve, how to achieve that is just as important. And when we're talking about how to achieve that goal, ask yourself in between that, in the meantime, what am I doing with the time for myself, for me? Or have I lost me in this process of getting to my goal? Have I lost me and my time in trying to use the time to get the goal achieved? Where is you in the meantime? Because every one of us has that meantime. So in the meantime, what am I going to do? What am I going to do in the meantime? So let's go to a hospital scenario, for example. And God forbid this happen to anybody. But let's just use it as an analogy that somebody you love is suddenly pushed into a theater. An emergency surgery has to suddenly get done. And there's you in this waiting room. What happens from the moment that person has gone into and wheeled into that theater and you standing there? Have you ever, well, if you haven't experienced it, it actually feels like every minute is a year because it just doesn't seem to be passing. You want to either, you have memories suddenly of the person that you forgot. You wish you had said something the day before. Lots of things start to happen in your mind. And then suddenly it's like 2 or 3 hours gone and they haven't come back out. The phone's constantly ringing. What's happening? I don't know. They're still in there. This becomes you. And suddenly, there's a value of time. Because suddenly, every minute that's passing, you want something from time. And time is not going to give you that. Because time is also lapsing. But what is that? What's happening with you? You suddenly have the time to reflect. You suddenly have the time to realize precious stuff, important stuff. And suddenly you find yourself saying, you know what, oh my God, and you appeal to the universe, your creator, God, and you say, whatever you like to call, but you say, let me see them again. Let me just hear that voice again. I don't want anything to go wrong. And when I see that, then I'm going to make sure things are right, etc., etc., etc. Now you start negotiating with time. That is the true scenario. So why do we want to wait for those things to start happening that are so difficult to have to bear emotionally, physically, mentally, for us to realize how important this concept of time is? And between that person being wheeled into theater and you getting the result you're looking for, and you being told, actually, they're in recovery now, everything was successful. Between that point and that point, that was your in the meantime. And what did you do in the meantime? You almost went crazy with thought, trying to go backwards, trying to come forward, not knowing. And suddenly you sat and you had to give yourself up to the universe, to your creator. And you had to just say, time, just give me back the time with this person. And then when the person comes back to you and you see them in recovery, you have a new sense of value for this person because you almost lost. So how about you valuing the time you have? Because we're losing that. From the time we started this, I think 30 minutes ago or so, I could be wrong, to now, we haven't lost time. I'd love to think that we've gained so much in this time. But I'm saying, what have you done? What have we done? We've learned. What have we learned? What are we doing? Let us become more conscious of time. This is why I'm saying this to you. Because it's better then for our goals to be achieved faster. Because remember, when we talk about time management, it's not about creating free time, but it's about how am I using the time wisely? How am I using my time to progress faster towards the goal that I know is important to me? So you'll be able to focus on one task at a time instead of jumping from one task to another. We need to start, complete, go to the next one, not chop into each thing and then none of them are complete at the end of the day. So that's a whole time management course on its own. But if I know the value of me in the time I'm using, then I will use the time more wisely to make sure what I start, I will finish. So how I'm valuing the time is not about just managing this time. It's how am I viewing this time? How do I value it? What worth do I put into it? That means I'm going to be able to make better decisions also. Because most people waste time saying, I'm waiting for the right opportunity. I want to say this to someone, but I'll wait for the right opportunity. I want to do this specific task, but I'll wait for the right opportunity. But they don't understand opportunities are never going to follow you until you work towards the opportunity. So sometimes, there are opportunities that are very rare to find. Why not use the opportunity when it's there? Why do we feel that we have to constantly wait for a specific opportunity? Do we not realize that sometimes, because time is not from us, you have to admit that time is not from you. Time is allocated to you from obviously a higher source. And when you understand that it's not in your control, then you will value that whatever I'm given now is an opportunity. Clearly, the source that has given me this time knows why he's given me this opportunity. Should I not grab it now? What makes me so sure that I will have the opportunity the next time? So grab whatever opportunities you have for now. Your worth is now. See your worth. Understand your worth and value your worth, but value your worth within the concept of your time given to you. So as an example, you can think you have this fantastic opportunity to send an application for a competition, for example, where you're going to win something that you really waited for a long time. And suddenly the time frame for the end of the application for this competition comes. And then you have this amazing attitude of, You know what, I'll skip it now because I know they'll run it again in the next few months, and then I'll apply that. And then 2 months down the line, you learn that that's never going to happen again because they've closed it off. What happens? I know it's a very silly example, but what happens? You're never going to get that chance again. Competition is closed, it's done. But do you see that your time is like a competition? What am I doing with my time versus what are you doing with your time? Sometimes we sit back and we wonder, why is this person just flourishing? You keep seeing this about this person and that about this person, and yet you're doing your same work, but you're not feeling that accomplished. Why? It's not that that person is just doing extra. That person is just using their time more valuably, more wisely, because they know and they value the time. So it's not about I'm competing with you. It's about I'm valuing me. I need to value me. When I value me, I will value my time. And when I value me, I will respect me. I will respect my time. I will respect that I'm given this space, this time, and I want to do A, B, and C in my time. So then, no matter who's doing A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in their time, it doesn't matter because I respect myself for my time for the A, B, C, and D only. And then when I finish D and I still have time, I'm so grateful that I have extra time. I'll move to my next one. That mindset of I'm not competing with others becomes less stressful for you. I'm only wanting to make sure my time is most valued. I'm giving the most into my time. My in the meantime is actually being used wisely for my time. My meantime is not being spent about what that person is doing, what that person is saying, how must I make sure I'm better than the next person. My meantime is not about anybody else. My meantime is about me versus the time I'm given. Because I don't have tomorrow as a guarantee. I don't have my next hour as a guarantee. So I'm going to value every second that I have. This has to be our mindset. And when we have this mindset of I value my time, then I will have the mindset that I value me. And when I value me, I will respect me. And when I respect me, I'm going to respect everything else about me and everything else about everybody else too. Does that not create harmony? That creates unity, that builds on the love, that builds on your relationship automatically, even if you are a business person, the highest corporate person. All of that goes into your demeanor as the leader that you are. And when you become that respect of you person, then you will respect those that work for you, around you. It means that your end result that you are striving so much for, you will spend every second towards achieving that more wisely because you suddenly have this renewed sense of value for yourself in the time you are spending. That means I'm going to value the people working with me to make sure that goal is achieved. And automatically, when I start to value the next person in front of me, do you know what it does to lift them up? To know that they are valued by that person. I am valued by someone. I'm appreciated by someone. When somebody is working for me and I tell them, thank you for your time, it automatically builds them up, motivates them, inspires them to want to give you more of their time because they work for you and they feel appreciated. Time is that important. So appreciate the time you have and appreciate the time others give you because time is something that we're not going to be able to reverse. You know, you're going to be obviously satisfied for a second, but are you satisfied long term with your time, with what you've done in your time? So I'm not going to speak for way too much right now. I am going to pause there and I'm going to say to everybody, today's topic, like I said, is not one of those normal topics that you would have about time management. Today, I wanted to speak about the you, me and my time. So that word of meantime is not just something random for me. That meantime means I have a while to play with. Do I have time to play with? Meantime means it's somewhat in the middle, you know, it's between seconds. So while I'm waiting for something, that's the meantime. In the meantime, while I'm waiting. But why are you waiting? While you are waiting, what is happening? So in that me and in that time, what am I doing? Can I redefine myself right this moment? While you're listening to me speak, while you're listening to Dr. Haider now, when he's going to speak, ask yourself, how do you define you in your time? How do you define you in the meantime? So while you're listening to me now and between now and later, in the meantime, how are you defining and then redefining you for your time? Are you seeing how precious your time is? Are you seeing how worthy your time is? Are you seeing value in yourself in the time you have that you are spending? Because that for me was the ultimate goal of my session today. I wanted everyone to see that this in the me and time is all about me and time. It's about you and your time. What are you doing for yourself? How are you doing it for yourself? Is it benefiting you? Is it not? What can you learn? What can you unlearn to make it better? How can you see time more preciously? How can you use your time more wisely so that your in the meantime becomes a legacy in itself for you? So I'm going to pause there, Dr. Haider Shah, and I'm going to say that, time, the me and the time in the meantime has all of that in between. And the crux for me is time is of essence. And the essence of our time is the essence from within ourselves. Within ourselves has to be where our time value comes from. You need to value every heartbeat that you have. You have to value every second that you have that you are breathing without a mask now. You have to value everything around you. Value the small things, respect and give gratitude, because the time is what's giving you those small things to give gratitude for. So thank you so much, Dr. Haider Shah. I'm looking forward to our next one, but we can continue talking, inshallah. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening as well. I'm hoping somebody's taking something about their time and they're going to change their lives more positively with their time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prof. Mehreen. Wonderful, and it was great to listen your wonderful speech regarding what is the meantime. And I very much agree with you. You have given wonderful example, even to make it more easy to understand. And I like the way you just mentioned. This time is limited. Yes, of course, we cannot recall the time, but as you mentioned in your talk that yes, time is money, but it is more valuable than even money, because we cannot reverse the time. There is no time machine. We don't have these kind of things. So definitely we have to use each second purposefully and meaningfully. I believe that the people would have learned a lot from your wisdom, because you have given a wonderful example of in a person waiting in the waiting room. At that time he realizes that what he has done till now, and what is the, if that person reflects upon what has been the previous experiences, whether that was good or bad, whether that person made memories with that person or not, and how the time they spent together. So definitely in life, where sometimes we do not get the second chance to rectify things, so it's better to have the things in a right order, as you mentioned. How do you value your time? That makes the difference. And most of the time we take things for granted, and particularly the time. There is a popular saying in one of the book I was reading, and they had written that most of the time, if a person they steal a purse from us, we will run after that person and will catch them, and even we will put him behind the bar. But if a person that steals your time, we don't do anything about it, and because we don't consider that time that much importance. So I believe we should stand guard on our mental factory, and we should see what the people come and how they are going to spend the time with me, and whether this is the mean time or not, and if it is valuable or not. If not, we should stand a guard, and we should not enter such person to our mind, because don't let anyone to dump their stuff on your mind, and you keep thinking on all those things. So I believe we resonate, and what you have said is I completely agree. We should respecting our time, and as you mentioned that if you respect your time, this calls for the unity, and through this way we can have the harmony around the globe, because we will be respecting each other in the longer run. So thank you very much. What a wonderful insight you have already given. There are few questions waiting for your elaboration. So let me just start with the first question, please. It's very interesting one, and the question is, how do cultural or societal factors influence the way individuals perceive and utilize the meantime concept? Are these cultural differences in the approach to transitional period and self-discovery? Yes, please, your take on that.
Sure. So thank you so much for the question. It is very important, and time is impactful on every aspect. We must remember that. One of the biggest hurdles I think we're trying to find in the world right now, we're trying to find a solution for, is this concept of diversity and understanding it. And we have this concept of inclusivity, which we're having difficulty understanding too. Majority of the time, we have this concept of culture and the societal norms against culture. The ideal is to understand, where does culture come from? If I value myself enough and I value who I am, my culture almost defines or redefines me. When I know that that value is attached to something regarding me as a person, and I respect that about me as a person, I will automatically respect the next person and their culture, because I know how it values them, how they value that culture, how they identify with it. That means I will respect this different, diverse culture, even though it makes up one society. So we don't have to create the barriers within society. We have to break them down. And the key to doing that is actually through respect. And what allows for that to happen? Time. If I take the time to understand certain things about certain people, I will remember and ascertain certain things about them every time I see some of their aspects. That would mean that I'm breaking down the barrier. And this concept of time, we lose time. And we lose time in frivolous arguments between society and members, stigmas that are attaching to certain things, etc. And we need to break down those. Because again, it's a mark of respect. All of us have come from a culture. All of us come from a specific mindset, diverse backgrounds. And we have to understand that everybody is coming from a specific concept of individuality. When I respect myself as an individual, I will learn how to respect the next as an individual. That grows our community, it grows our society. And then together we will work for this concept of time that will allow for transformational growth within society. It will allow for us to build our people, build our culture. People do not want to see barriers in cultures anymore. We have too much of that in the world right now. We need to break down the barriers, and we need to grow through transforming first a mindset shift. How do I change my mindset? That means you got to take some time out. Take some time to understand you in society, understand your role that you play first for yourself, not what is my role in society first. What is my role for me? How do I understand me? What am I doing in my time for me? Then push that into, what am I doing now that I know me, define me for society? Does it mean I got to change who I am because I want to fit into society, or should society adapt to adjust to include me and respect me for who I am? So I'm hoping that somewhat answers the question, but I did enjoy the question. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice, wonderful. And I really enjoyed the way you just quoted in the last sentences that when you start respecting and know your value, and then if you become good, then it is more beneficial towards the society. And I think we have different gifts and qualities given by the uh, God, and I believe we should be respecting it. And the way we are gifted, if we utilize that, would be the great contribution to the field and the world in a larger sense. So, of course, we need to come up with our individuality, as you mentioned, and only then we can be contributing more. Now, another very interesting question they want to ask, since we are living in the era of the technology, so they want to ask the question that, can technology such as mobile application or wearable devices be utilized to support individuals in maximizing the benefits of the meantime experiences? If so, what are the some of the examples, and how effectively are they? Since now people cannot think their life without technology, so that's why I believe they always ask regarding the technology role. Yes, please.
No problem. So yes, I agree. Everybody cannot do without a cell phone. Have you seen somebody now try to be without a cell phone or without a mobile? It's just they go frantic. I don't even. People actually don't remember people's telephone numbers anymore because it's all attached to a device. So thank you for the question. Yes, technology has taken. How can I say? It's taken over, so to speak. And the art for us is to understand that, especially who we are, where we are, what we're doing. It must not take over who you are as a person. It can help to enhance your level of education. It can help to enhance your mindset to a positive state. It can help to make changes to you if you need the changes to be made. But all of those things that I've just mentioned, for example, and the list can go on, all of those changes can only be made for you through technology if you are aware of yourself as a person without it first. So I cannot define me based on what technology says about me. And that's one of the biggest mistakes we're finding in society, and especially with our youth nowadays. They tend to have this comparison check between themselves versus what they see on the screen. So there's no value for me as a person anymore because that's not what the YouTube video said. That's not what TikTok said. That's not what that person said. Those are people that are inside a screen. Yes, you're listening to me, for example, inside a screen. I'm saying what I'm saying. If it's impacting you positively, I pray so be it. But if I'm going to constantly have me on a screen and you compare yourself to me because you want to be me, that's not the goal. The goal is that you have to stay true to you, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. Stay true to your culture. Stay true to what you need to do. Define you for you. Be aware of you as a person. Then understand this is one thing about me I wish to change. This is something about me I might not like. This is something about my time management and how I'm using my mean time that needs to change. And then use technology to try and help you to answer the questions. Answer the questions for you to redefine you as a person using technology, not where technology defines you as a person for you to reuse it all the time. So for me, that's the biggest thing about technology. Technology is still outside of us. Apps are still outside of us. That cannot control us. We have to learn, how do I control technology? How do I need technology? Because how you need technology, how do you need something that you see on YouTube? How do you see a YouTube video? How you need it is how you will allow it to impact you. And that for me is the key. How you allow this to impact you is key. How much of time you want to spend on these devices is what is important. So you have to first know you. The technology aspect is there, it's not going to go away. But you are also there and you must not slither away. So don't allow you to disappear through technology. Technology has to work for you. You have to make technology work for you, not the other way around. So I'm hoping that answers the question. So use your mean time wisely to let yourself help yourself through technology and not technology define who you are through it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wonderful answer to this question. And I think that's the beauty that we see the technology and we should control it. The way you just explained that, how does it impact you? That's the important thing. And I believe that technology is a good servant but a bad master. So if you have a control over it, that is more better. Since we have time limitation, once again, thank you very much, Prof. Mehreen, for your wonderful insight and for sharing your wisdom with our audience from around the globe. Since you have been to Kalwa's platform on multiple times, and you know that at the end of the session, we ask our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message this time to the world, please?
Um, Dr. Haider, right now, time is precious means a lot more after I lost my dad. And I don't regret. I have some regrets, of course, that I didn't have more time with him, but I can't change that. I can't go back in time either. But I always say, why do we wait for the loss, or why do we wait for something to be painful for us to realize the value of time? So right now, ask yourself, wherever you are in the world, a few questions to redefine you. Like, what am I using my time for? Am I using my time wisely? Do I value time at all? Do I value myself in the time I have? And what can I do to change that so that I do find worth in me as a person? Do I have purpose for my time? Because time is for your purpose to be fulfilled. We just don't know how much of time we have. So in the time that we have, every second that we have, let's find our purpose. Let's bring a smile to ourselves. Let us make it worthwhile so that whatever time we're using is precious because we are precious. You are created because you are a gift. You are a gift unto yourself because your creator molded you to be that. And because you're so gifted as you are worthy of time. That's the gift also. You're given time. Time is a gift, just like you are a gift. So choose what you do with your time very wisely because you have to enhance the gift of you. Just like I would look after something Dr. Haider gives me as a gift, as a treasure, nothing must go wrong with it. Value yourself as a treasure and then value the time you are given because you are that precious. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping, inshallah, that we will meet again. And we pray that we have peace across the world very soon, and that we pray for everyone who's having any difficulty anywhere in the world, they find ease and comfort. Thank you so much, Dr. Hill.
I mean, and thank you very much for giving such a wonderful message to the world. And I believe people like you are contributing well. Thank you very much. Since I'm getting the signal for just we have already reached to the time. Thank you very much once again. And inshallah, we will be having another session with you soon. And please, to the audience, do follow distinguished guest speaker through her research work, and you can email her for future learning and guidance. She is very generous and always to help the people. So that's all we have time for today. And thank you once again, Professor Dr. Mehreen Mia. And if you have any additional question about information shared today, please email her or connect to the speaker directly. Thank you all for support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. Until next session, take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Thank you once again, Prof.